Hey everyone, I'm back with another update. In this episode, I'll cover immigration related news and the shooting of two National Guardsmen. Of course, I'll end with the noteworthy tidbits. A 78th person was found to be participating in the Somali fraud operations in Minnesota, stealing $1.1 million by claiming he was feeding 6,000 meals to children daily, which is twice the population of the town where the scheme took place. Due to increased attention brought to the Somali community by these fraud schemes, ICE and border agents will be targeting Somalian dominated communities in Minnesota. ICE is also still targeting truck stops and checkpoints in New York, and they're deporting a major Muslim leader in Texas after he sent donations to a Hamas linked nonprofit group. Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan marched through the streets demanding a revolution from all Muslims against the United States way of life, and three teenage migrants from Venezuela have been charged with murdering a homeless man in Chicago. A Virginia assistant principal and his brother were caught plotting to lure and violently ambush ICE agents, and now they're being investigated by the Department of Homeland Security. A Liberian illegal alien allegedly sexually assaulted a 10-year-old at an elementary school in Arizona while pretending to be a doctor, and the state of Oregon is suing the Trump administration because non-citizens and illegals lost their SNAP benefits and fraud within the SNAP program has been targeted. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is ordering U.S. diplomats to pressure their host governments to end most immigration due to its existential threat, and President Trump officially terminated temporary protected status for 353,000 Haitian migrants. Shifting to the shooting of two National Guardsmen, which loops back around to immigration related news. On November 26th, two members of the West Virginia National Guard, 20-year-old Sergeant Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Specialist Andrew Wolf, were shot in a targeted ambush near the West Metro Station in downtown Washington, D.C., approximately 2 blocks northwest of the White House. The attack occurred during their patrol as part of Operation Iron Fist, a Trump administration initiative deploying thousands of National Guard and federal personnel to combat rising crime in the nation's capital. Both victims were in uniform, shot at close range, and critically wounded. The suspect, identified as an Afghan national who entered the U.S. in September 2021 under Operation Allies Refuge after assisting U.S. forces in Afghanistan, approached the guardsmen without provocation and opened fire using a Smith & Wesson revolver. Fellow guardsmen returned fire, wounding the suspect, who was taken into custody at the scene. The White House briefly locked down, and Metro PD, the FBI, Secret Service, and Joint Terrorism Task Force secured the scene. The victims were transported to separate hospitals, and West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey visited them both and urged prayers. Sadly, Beckstrom succumbed to her injuries the following day, November 27th, while Wolf remains in critical condition, fighting for his life as of the time I'm writing this on November 28th. No motive has been publicly confirmed, though the FBI is investigating it as a potential act of terrorism, with no evidence of additional accomplices. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser described the attack as targeted, and President Trump ordered 500 additional National Guard troops to Washington, D.C., vowing to re-examine all Afghan evacuees. In a press conference by FBI Director Kash Patel and U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, it was announced that the suspect has been charged with 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed, with charges to be upgraded to first-degree murders. Additional murder charges are expected if Wolf succumbs to his injuries. Patel called the act a heinous act of terrorism and blamed the prior administration's zero vetting of Afghan arrivals, and immigration applications from Afghan nationals were halted indefinitely. In the aftermath of this attack, President Trump vowed to pause all immigration to allow the United States system to fully recover and to denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility. Stephen Miller confirmed that even asylum seekers and refugees may be deported, and when Kash Patel was asked if authorities missed any signs of the asylum process, Patel responded, "Well, you miss all the signs when you do absolutely zero vetting, and that's exactly what happened in this case." Vice President Vance made an excellent point in response to the fact that our country was founded on immigrants by saying, "Just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world." Now it's time for the noteworthy tidbits, which are brought to you today by Old Glory. Let me tell you about them quick. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family-owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. All right, let's get back to the tidbits. A McLaughlin poll found President Trump's approval rating to be running strong at 50%. The 2020 election interference case against Trump and his allies, spearheaded by Fani Willis, was dismissed in its entirety. President Trump announced over Truth Social that he and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum will be cleaning and fixing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. President Trump rescinded all payments and subsidies to South Africa due to the South African government refusing to acknowledge or address the killing of white people and taking of their farmland. Trump said South Africa will also not be receiving an invitation to the 2026 G20 summit, which will be hosted in Miami, Florida. War Secretary Pete Hegseth spent a couple of days in the Dominican Republic for the purpose of meeting with top leaders to continue major anti-narco-terrorist strikes in our hemisphere, and as for Maduro, President Trump hinted land strikes may be coming soon. Food service workers at LAX staged a protest, blocking roads and making travel impossible, alleging unsafe working conditions and unfair wages. Judges approved the 2026 North Carolina congressional map that flips a blue seat red. Secretary Hegseth spent Thanksgiving in the Caribbean with the troops who are embarking on Operation Southern Spear, and Vice President Vance and his family served Thanksgiving dinner to the troops at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Vance met with Army Secretary Dan Driscoll while at Fort Campbell as well, as Driscoll is set to meet with the Ukrainians after negotiating peace with the Russians. The FBI has identified and/or located almost 6,000 child victims, and arrests involving networks that target young children online have surged by 500%. Director Patel said, "This is among the most important issues in America, and we won't stop working." Lastly, President Trump confirmed he may eliminate the federal income tax, saying, "Within the next couple of years, we'll substantially be cutting, or cutting out completely, income tax." That's all I have for today. I'll be back with another update soon. Until then, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast, and follow me on Instagram and X at Shades of Jade Pod. Thank you for listening and have a great day.